Hello everyone, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so this is a quick one. I came about this story and then I thought of sharing with your lovely selves. Um, there have been a lot of stories and sayings about how Arabs were careful with keeping their language when Islam started expanding and all that, and the Arabic language started going far. The Arabs started getting mixed with those people who were non-Arabs, people who were coming into Islam, and so the Arabic started getting mixed up. The originality of it started fading, and words started going out. But then the language as is always found in the villages where you hardly find um, um, conquest and campaigns reaching, affecting. So places like the desert, the depth of the desert, and places like the forest and all that always keeps the purity of a language. Okay, so we have this saying where Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, the second Khalifa of Islam after Sayyidina Abu Bakr, where he met some people, they were throwing arrows and they were making mistakes. So he hit them to correct them. And they said, Inna qawmun muta'allimin instead of muta'allimun. Then they said, we are people who are learning, but they should have said muta'allimun. And then they said muta'allimin. So Sayyidina Umar in response said, Inna khata'akum fi lisanikum ashaddu alayya min khata'ikum fi ramyikum. Something in this note. He said, surely your mistakes, the mistakes on your tongue, the errors on your tongue are severe upon me than your errors in what you were doing before that I intended to correct. So they were very careful about, because whenever a language is mixed, all these divine languages, those languages that divine books were sent with, like the Hebrew language, whenever it is mixed up, it creates problem. It goes not just to affect the society and their usage of their language, it affects the religious text, because people now understand it wrongly and use it wrongly. So they were very careful with it. So there are stories like that. But I came across this particular story and I thought of sharing with you. It is narrated in Sharh Ajurumiyah, the explanation of Ajurumiyah by Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymin. He narrates it, I think that is on page 35 thereabout. The story starts on page 34, if I'm not getting it wrong. Start on page 34. So he brings the story and he says, Yuqalu, it is said, because we don't really have anything to authenticate it. So he says, Yuqalu, inna al-HAJJAAJ ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. Hajjaj, one of the commanders of the era, very severe guy. He was very, very severe. Min Thaqif, from the people of Thaqif, min al-Ta'if, from the Ta'if area. وَكَانَ رَجُلًا حَرِيصًا. He was very careful and cautious على اللغة العربية. He had a very strict attitude towards Arabic language. So he was very careful whenever somebody makes mistake. To him, he can even hang you when you make mistake in Arabic language. Okay. So this particular man said, وَهُوَ الَّذِي أَعْرَبَ الْقُرْآنِ. He's the one who did the Quran, the grammatical analysis of the Quran. Says, تَكَلَّمَ إِنْدَهُ أَعْرَابِيٌّ, a desert Arab, Arabiyyun, mostly a desert Arab, kind of the Bedouins, spoke in his presence, and the person used a word on the meter, فُعْلَةٌ. Now in Arabic we deal with meters, words goes with meters. We have fa'ala, yaf'alu, maf'ala, maf'il, stuff like that. So always there is a meter a word falls on. Something like we say ma'kul is on the meter maf'ul. So Arabs know their meters very well. When you say a word and it is not Arabic, it doesn't follow Arabic, they can easily detect it. So this man spoke with him and he used the word, and the word was on the meter fu'ulatun. Fu'ulatun. فَقَالَ لَهُ الْحَجَّاج. So Hajjaj said to him, لَيْسَتْ مَوْجُودَةٌ فِي اللُّغَّةِ الْعَرَبِيَّةِ. It is not available in Arabic language. This is not part of Arabic language. قَالَ, and the man said, موجودة. It is available. Now this Arabi, he knows his Arabic very well. You get it? But Al-Hajjaj was being very cautious, as he is known to be. He's always severe. Then the Arabi said, موجودة. It is available. قال, so Hajjaj also said, اذهب اذهب ائت بشاهد من العرب الأقحاء. He said, اذهب, go, ائت, bring, ائت, bring, بشاهد, an evidence, من العرب الأقحاء, from the pure Arab. Aqha means the plural of quhn, that is, when we say al-Arab al-quh, that is the pure Arab. When we say something is quh, that is the purest part of the thing. So when we say, he said, go and bring me evidence from the pure Arabs. Now, then what they used to use as evidence, when you say something and they wanted to confirm whether it is true or not, they will go and find a desert Arab and then ask the person, is this available? How do you people say this? When the person confirms, what the person says becomes judgment. Okay. So Al-Hajjaj asked him to go and bring an evidence from the pure Arabs. وَإِلَّا, else, ضَرَبْتُ أُنُقَكَ, I will, ضَرَبْتُ أُنُقَكَ, literally I will hit your neck. But then it means I will just take off your head. I will cut your neck. فَذَهَبَ الرَّجُلُ, so the man went, the Arabi, the desert Arab, he went. فَذَهَبَ الرَّجُلُ يَطْلُبُ فِي الْبَوَادِي, he went seeking through the lands, going here and there to see whether he will find somebody, some of these desert Arabs to help him, some of these pure Arabs to help him with an evidence. Now, evidence here, a poem that has been said by an Arab, Al-Arab al-Quh, a pure Arab. When you find a poem said by the person or a statement said by the person, you can use it as an evidence. Okay, so he went and he kept searching. يقول, he said, فَلَمَّا كَانَ ذَاتَ يَوْمٍ, one day, وَإِذَا بِشَاعِرٍ يَنْشِدْ, then he found a poet saying poetry. ينشد الشعر, he's saying poetry. فلما كان ذات يوم وإذا بشاعر ينشد, and then one day he found one poet saying poetry, and the poet said, ربما تقره النفوس من الأمر له فرجة كحل العقال. ربما تقره النفوس من الأمر له فرجة كحل العقال. Perhaps the soul might hate something, and then within this thing lies its relief. A relief such as how the rope that is used to tie an animal is untied. Such a relief. So when you look at this bait, when you look at this poem, verse of a poem, the poet used furuja, furujatun, and it goes with the meter fu'ulatun. Look at the sounds. When we say meter, we mean the sound, the rhythm. When we say furujatun, it goes with the meter fu'ulatun. So he has gotten an evidence that Arab use this meter. Arabs have words that fall on this meter. So he needs to go back to Hajjaj and give him this good news. That is, he can no more kill him. He has an evidence. And then see the interesting part. When he found this, وَإِذَا بِشَيْءٍ وَإِذَا بِشَيْخٍ عَفْوًا وَإِذَا بِشَيْخٍ آخَرَ يَأْتِي يَقُولُ. And then وَإِذَا here means as he found this evidence, then right away, a sheikh, that is an old man or a scholar, another scholar, shaykhin akhara, another scholar or another old man came and said, Ya'ti wa yaqul. They saw him come and then he told them, Innal Hajjaja mat. Hajjaj is dead. Hajjaj, who had said he will kill this man if this man doesn't find an evidence. Hajjaj is dead. Qala, the man said, this man who went to find the evidence, the desert Arab, said, Wallahi, ma farahi bimawtihi ashaddu min farahi bihazal bayt. Wallahi, I swear by Allah, ma farahi bimawtihi, my happiness with regards his death, ma bi ashaddin, is not as severe, min farahi, from it's not as severe than my happiness, bihazal bait, with this verse of poetry that I've found. To him, affirming this word in Arabic language, to him was better than saving his head. He was not just concerned about saving his head, he was concerned about making sure he has affirmed a single meter or a single word in Arabic language. So Imam said here in the comment of Uthaymeen, he said, Kafahu Allahu al-amra bi-mawt al-Hajjaj. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had protected him, God Almighty had protected him with the death of Hajjaj, because Hajjaj had threatened to kill him. He said, Kafahu Allahu al-amra bi-mawt al-Hajjaj. Hajjaj's death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Hajjaj's death has protected him. Wa wujud al-shahid, and also the availability of an evidence. All these go in to save his neck. But then his focus was on making sure this word is protected. This is how severe they went in protecting the language. So you realize every word is there, kept pure. So you look at books like Al-Maqamat al-Hariri. If you look at books like Maqamat al-Hariri, and then Maqamat al-Badi' al-Zaman al-Hamazani. You look at these books, you find some words and you are amazed. You look at the Mu'allaqat, the hanged poems. You look at the Dawawin of the Arabs, of the predecessors, Ash-Sha'r al-Jahili. You find that you see some words and you wonder, are these really Arabic words? They went to every extent to make sure they kept their word. Okay, this is just a little piece I wanted to share with your lovely selves. Okay, have a nice time. See you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.